Why did Blake Lively thank him in the end credits? Hi, and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Kerstin Flo, and here on my channel, I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood, working as an entertainment reporter, and as you know, a lot about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively's legal drama. So yesterday, I spoke about an article in Forbes magazine. I wasn't shocked to read it, but it was another reminder of how biased traditional media have become since Blake Lively came out in the New York Times in December of 2024 with that article, We Can Bury Anyone. Anyways, someone commented on that video or sent me an email. I'm sorry, I forgot where I got this information, but someone asked me, have you seen how the New York Times has reported lately? So I was scrolling through it and Googling through everything that New York Times has published since they did that big expose of Justin Baldoni and Wayfair and the team, and the way that they claim that they started this alleged smear campaign against Blake Lively. And all the articles I could find was basically about legal filings. They haven't reported one single story outside of that. Nothing about Taylor Swift and the subpoena, nothing about what was all over the news last week or the last couple of weeks. Nothing. Isn't that interesting? They just refuse to report on anything that doesn't fit their narrative and agenda here. And as you know, they did put me in that article as well, where they reported that it wasn't the first time Miss Flaw had been working with or been associated with Melissa Nathan, because as most of you know by now, I did also publish an interview I did with Johnny Depp back in 2020, I think it was, and then that's proof enough for them. So the New York Times refused to give me a correction when I contacted them and said, why didn't you reach out to me for comments? And they said, we can't correct anything. We won't correct anything, but you can give us a statement. So I did, and they published a statement saying that I said that I wasn't involved. They never admitted that they had never contacted me for comments. It's funny because I just Googled this, and they have a public correction policy at the New York Times. And this policy emphasizes correcting errors quickly and transparently and ensures that all mistakes are addressed in a timely manner. They acknowledge mistakes even if caught shortly after publication and correct them across all platforms. So I asked ChatGPT about this, and it said that if the New York Times acknowledged your statement, the statement I gave them that I wasn't involved, they effectively acknowledged that the article was misleading. Refusing to label that as a correction suggests institutional defensiveness, not integrity. Anyways, in the meantime, Blake Lively and her team, Paul Feig, have been pushing another simple favor still. I can't believe they're still on a tour pushing this movie. It's been going on basically since March at South by Southwest when they had this premiere there. Remember, I think it was in the beginning of March. And so that's been like 2-3 months now where they've been pushing this movie relentlessly. It's a straight to streaming movie. I've never seen anything like this. And as Glenda, thank you, Glenda, so much pointed out to me, she said, have you seen this video with Paul Feig being asked about Blake and Baldoni? And I hadn't seen this. Basically, Paul Feig is on stage. He's like having fun with his new gin that he also put in the movie. And the interviewer does this.
There's a big scandal happening.
I know, there is. I mean, it's all, I don't know.
Let's have another drink. And you were telling me backstage you support Baldoni. Is that right?
No. Oh, my God. Well, here comes my subpoena.
Ha, ha, ha. That's so funny. Paul Feig is also making fun of Blake Lively's accusations, basically, saying, ha, ha, here comes the subpoena. If he really believed her, would he also make fun of this whole situation? A woman has accused a man of something allegedly really horrible here. So why are you laughing about it? He's not the first one to laugh about it. We've been seeing like so many other like talk show hosts and whatever making fun of this. But the way he's been defending her and then on top of that laughing about it like this doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, that was another video that Glenda sent me that they posted about 3 days ago when they were testing all these pizzas where Michele, I think I said his name right now, Michele Marone, was referring to Ryan Reynolds as his best friend.
Yesterday evening, I had a fight with one of my best friends, which is Ryan, Blake's husband, because he was like, I love pineapple pizza. So at that moment, we never had anything, to fight with. And we looked at each other like we were about to fight. It's like, I loved you until now.
One of my best friends, Ryan Reynolds, which is Blake's husband. Oh my God, of course he's going to get a part in whatever Ryan Reynolds is making next. And funny enough, both Michaela and Brendan Sklenar, as you remember from It Ends With Us, both got a role in Paul Feig's upcoming movie, Housemates. So Paul Feig just collects all the Blake Lively supporters and put them in movies, basically. I also got a tip from someone who wants to stay anonymous because he or she is in the industry. This was very interesting, and I never even thought about it. The person calls herself, I guess, Queen of Dragons. And she said, why is no one looking at Shawn Levy? He was also thanked in the end credits of It Ends With Us. As you may know, Shawn Levy was directing Deadpool versus Wolverine with Ryan Reynolds. So why did Blake Lively thank him in the end credits at It Ends With Us? As she points out in her email here, a little inside information about Ryan Reynolds' relationship to Shawn Levy. As you know, Ryan Reynolds did 2 Deadpool movies prior to this one, and he didn't get along with the director. Tim Miller has been out there saying that he doesn't want to work with Ryan Reynolds again because he was so controlling. So this person who sent me this email said that Ryan Reynolds finally met his match in Shawn Levy because Shawn Levy is letting him do whatever he wants in his movies. The person is saying here that on project they worked on together, Shawn and Ryan would spend time after shooting days to rewrite most of the scripts to Ryan's liking. This led me to look into Shawn's recent work since Stranger Things a bit closer. So Shawn Levy did Stranger Things, and then he did Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. And Free Guy was based on Ryan's favorite childhood movie, Field of Dreams. This is important because Ryan had finally found a director who was willing to tailor a project to everything Ryan wanted. Ryan values cameos from famous celebs to make him seem like he's in important circles, and Shawn values the same thing. So of course there were tons of cameos in the movie. Then in 2020 they did the Adam Project together when Shawn was directing again. Shawn and Ryan have now solidified that they liked working together and plan to continue. Ryan has often said that the Adam Project is strongly based on his relationship with his father. And once again, Shawn was happy to write the script with Ryan's involvement. Then it says here, here's the kicker, Ryan didn't like the director in Deadpool 1 or 2, so then voila, he hired Shawn Levy to do the third Deadpool movie. And as we know, the 2 of them are like this. We've seen them in pictures together. They're always bragging about each other. And as we know, Ryan added Nice Pool into the mix of Deadpool versus Wolverine very late in production. And of course, Shawn Levy was part of that as he was directing the movie. So this person here is saying, how is everyone looking at all the other people in the end credits, but not Shawn Levy? Why did Blake Lively thank him in the end credits? Was he also helping her edit the movie? And that would be a big problem because he is obviously a member of Directors Guild of America. And if you work on other people's projects without getting credit for your role in that project, or you just hijack someone else's project, that in this case could be the case, since Blake Lively, I'm sure Justin Baldoni doesn't even know that Shawn Levy was involved, and he probably didn't know about him being mentioned in the end credits before he saw the movie. So yes, this could be interesting, and I'm sure he's going to be subpoenaed as well, so we're going to get to know more about this. But it does make sense. Why would she just thank him out of nowhere if he had nothing to do with the movie? If he's just friends with her husband, why would you thank him in the end credits? So as I previously said, that Bradley Cooper was thanked in the end credits and maybe he had something to do with the final edit as well. Here's another guy. Um, yeah, I tried to find out what she actually thanked him for, and no like there's nothing on that. So this might be another example of someone from their camp allegedly helping them to take over the movie. So yesterday when I spoke about the article in Forbes magazine, I said that I find women more dramatic than men, and some people in the comment section were reacting to that, saying that it was a sexist thing to say and that it was like I create stereotypes by saying that. So I wanted to point out that sometimes, I'm a human being and I talk about my experiences. My experiences working in Hollywood, with work in general. I have found that more women have been dramatic and creating drama and conflict more than I have experienced with men. So I wanted to clarify that it's not a fact that women are more dramatic than men, but it's my experience. You might come from another place and have different experiences with that. And I totally respect that. And I totally respect you saying that. So, yes, I'm not here to insult anyone. And I hope I didn't do that by saying that. I'm here to challenge narratives. I want to start conversations about emotional behavior. Anyways, regarding that, I did get a couple of emails yesterday about narcissism because I also spoke about how Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are narcissists and how they refuse to take accountability for the things that they do. And this person who sent me a very personal email talking about her experience being the daughter of a narcissist and how that has affected her. And she explained a few things that make so much sense when you read it, when you hear it, because it is really explaining the behavior of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. She says here that narcissists often enlist what psychology calls flying monkeys. People who knowingly or not support their narrative, echo their justifications, and pressure others to comply. It's rarely about loyalty. More often, it's fear of conflict, fear of retaliation, fear of being next. These enablers might say, just let it go. Don't make it worse. Not being they believe in the abuser's innocence, but because peacekeeping feels safer than truth telling. I think it's such an important thing to remember when thinking about all these people that have been supporting Blake and Ryan. Sometimes I would call it cowardness, but we have to keep these things in mind. She says that when that abuser is part of a power couple, that dynamic is amplified. People become reluctant to challenge them, not because they agree, but because they know there may be social professional costs for doing so. And when no one stands up to them, their version of reality begins to dominate. They start believing their own myths because no one dares to interrupt the performance. This is the truly painful part. These individuals often never hear the truth. No one dares to say, this is abusive. This is controlling. This is wrong. They move through the world insulted by fear, not respect, and confuse compliance with righteousness. Yeah, I think if you are a narcissist to begin with, and then you add the fame on top of that, it's like you're doomed. And I think what we see with Blake and Ryan right now, the way that they've been behaving in the public eye, pretending that everything's fine and just keeps pushing for their narrative that they're on top of the world and they're an amazing couple and they're beautiful, kind, funny people. They just refuse to see the truth. And I do think that they do not think they've done anything wrong. It's kind of crazy, but I believe that Blake Lively think that she is in the right. It's obvious that they have found a way to justify everything that they do. Yeah, I think this is such an important thing to remember when we see these two people out and about in public, pretending that everything's amazing and they're so happy and they're so powerful and they're so successful and nothing affects them because that's the image they want to put out there. And it seems like maybe nothing is affecting them. Maybe that's how bad this really is, that that's the true self that they are, that they take no accountability for any of their actions ever, and they're always in the right. So of course they wouldn't be bothered by everything that's been going on. It's crazy to think that there are people like that out there. I've experienced similar personalities in my life. I think all of us have come across narcissists in our lives, either professionally or in our love life, which is even worse. And I think if you see these red flags, I think the best advice would be stay away. These people very, very rarely change because they never see that there's anything wrong with them. So why would they change if, in their eyes, they're perfect the way they are? Anyways, that's it from you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Blossom Talk. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.